Enter this thing here. There we are, center. Welcome to another reading. I think, although this might seem a little bit convoluted at times, it's really good practical advice. It's called Repattern Our Thoughts. So, welcome to another reading from the Science of Mind magazine, the daily guides, courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center in Spring, Texas. Repattern Our Thoughts. The first quote is from the famous psychotherapist and psychoanalyst and so on from the last century, C.G. Jung, J-U-N-G. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. So what does that mean? Well, here we are. Ernest Holmes in The Power of an Idea on page 33 says, if we are to succeed, we must think success. If we are to be happy, we must think happily. If we are to be well, we must think healthful, constructive thoughts. If we are to get over confusion, we must think peace. To what extent can we prove in our lives that these things are so? To the extent that we believe. As we're able to become convinced to accept that which the mind no longer repudiates, so we will experience. Definitely and deliberately, we attempt to repattern our thoughts more to our heart's desire. They, that's the thoughts, thus become the new mold, the invisible cause into which our actual human experience is cast. And as I said, that was the power of an idea on page 33. This is what Reverend Jesse says. To launch ourselves into a more desirable condition, then, we start by forming a mental equivalent of an improved version of the present one, a version that may be even its complete positive opposite. Holmes says we particularize, thereby converting abstract wishes into concrete goals. He goes on to say, divine love is a beautiful image. And what does it mean to us here and now? This is how we specify in our prayer work. It's not about the way things are going to happen, since we largely don't determine that, but about making the universal good for us in the moment. Believing a thing is possible opens us to the next step of acceptance, which is to believe that it's possible for us. This puts us in the picture that takes shape around us as our higher quality experience. Okay, so put simply, it's done at you as you believe. And guard your thoughts. So in other words, as we've said many, many times before, it's about living in awareness. And then if you catch yourself thinking thoughts that aren't really in line with what you want, then changing those thoughts and changing the feelings that are attached to those thoughts. And then we'll start to get more of what we want. So if you concentrate, say, on your bank balance being low and you keep bemoaning that, and these thoughts keep going on, guess what? There's a good chance that you're going to experience more of a low bank balance. But if you repattern it and start to think about how much money you would like in your account, and make it reasonable, because usually most of us can't make a quantum leap from, say, $200 to $5 million. Maybe some people can, but most of us can't. So make it reasonable. And then concentrate on what it is you want. So if you like to always have a bank balance of $5,000, say, that's what you got to keep telling yourself or reminding yourself. So anytime something comes up that is the opposite to that or not equal to that, then you change it and you focus on the $5,000. As Reverend Jesse says, it isn't our job to figure out how that's going to happen. That's up to the universal mind, universal subjective, universal subconscious, if you like. to figure out how it's going to happen. Our job is to simply focus on what it is that we want to happen and to wrap feelings around it. So how would it feel, for instance, to be able to know that you can look at your account and there's always at least $5,000 in there? So how would it feel? I guess if you're looking at your checking account, it will look okay, right? So that means there's always enough money coming in to allow $5,000 to be there. So what is it you want? How do you feel about it? It's really that simple. And of course, it applies to all sorts of things, your health, various things. Okay, so that's really about it. You know, some of these things to me don't need a lot of explanation. As I've said before, if you need more enlightenment on these things, let me know. Email, text, it's all good. The affirmation: the present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. So that is it for today. My readings are usually fairly short. I apologize. I was joking with Reverend Lisa the other day about the fact that we were in class together. And I was joking about the fact that on Sunday mornings, I do the short stuff and Reverend Lisa makes up for it by doing the longer stuff. So there you are. Speaking of Reverend Lisa, she will be on tomorrow morning about 9 o'clock, 9:30. And I'll be back tomorrow evening around about 5. So until then, namaste.